Ladies and gentlemen, we have just witnessed what I can only describe as a historic collapse, a double implosion that the Democrats and their media machine will never recover from. So on the one side, you got Hakeem Jeffries. He goes on CNBC thinking he can just spin the same old tired talking points. But this time, the host hit him with cold, hard facts. Trump's economy is booming. Inflation's under control. Trillions in investment pouring into America. The border finally secured. And Jeffries, he snaps. He loses it. He about quits. He shouts. He stammers. And then he storms right out of the interview in total humiliation. And on the other side, at the very same moment, Rachel Maddow, once the crown jewel of MSNBC, is watching everything that she built crumble to dust. Her own network ditches its name after 29 years. 29 long years are changing their name, rebrands with some half-baked patriotic slogan. And what does Rachel Maddow do? Well, instead of defending it, she melts down in public, mocking the rebrand and admitting that she doesn't even know how to pronounce the new name. Folks, that's not confidence. That is a career in freefall. This is the double quit, okay? Jeffries could not handle the truth and quit. Rachel Maddow, she couldn't save MSNBC, and she lost everything. So here's the real kicker. Both meltdowns prove the exact same point. Democrats and their media allies are collapsing under the weight of Donald J. Trump's success. When Trump wins, well, they lose their minds. Now, by the way, guys, if you appreciate the news updates, please hit the like button and subscribe. But we're just getting started here because in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to show you the exact moment that Jeffries gets wrecked with facts. The bizarre meltdown from Rachel Maddow that international press is now mocking. Guys, she is getting made fun of internationally, okay? And so the stunning ratings collapse that proves that cable news is done. So buckle up, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Stay with me until the end, because by the time that we're done, you're going to understand exactly why this double quit isn't just a bad day for the left. It is the beginning of the end. So now let's start with the first crack in the wall. Jeffries CNBC RAGE QUIT. Now picture this, guys. CNBC, the business network, not CNN, not MSNBC. These aren't softball pitches lobbying Democrat talking points. These are people who live and breathe numbers. So basically when Jeffries walked in with his binder full of excuses, they didn't just ask questions. They dropped a hammer of facts right on his head. So they looked him straight in the eye and they laid it all out. Inflation, 2.7% after hitting 9% under Joe Biden. GDP, 3% growth. Stocks, record highs. S&P 500, Dow Jones, NASDAQ. The border finally secure with Trump's new enforcement surge. Trade deals locked in with Europe, Japan, and more on the way. Trillions of dollars in foreign investment flowing into America. Even Iran's nuclear ambitions set back indefinitely. And then came the killer question. Congressman, where's the calamity you keep talking about? This dude, and you could pretty much see it on his face, though. Jeffries didn't have an answer.
The inflation rate itself was 2.7% in the most recent read year over year versus it got to a high of 9% under Biden. Stocks are at record highs. Unemployment is 4.2%. That's full employment. The GDP was 3%. The border is actually secure. We've got trade deals with EU, Japan, many more in the works, and trillions of dollars of foreign investment coming here. Iran's nuclear ambitions have been set back indefinitely. And I just wrote down a few things. So I just have to ask you, where is the calamity that you're talking about? And it almost seems like for Democrats, socialism is the answer to these problems. Or, I don't know, an end of democracy or something? We just don't get it.
He didn't have a single number. He didn't even have a shred of reality to stand on. So what does he do? Well, he did what every Democrat does when confronted with Trump's success. He panicked, he stammered, and then he said the line that exposed everything. Costs are up, jobs are down. Folks, that wasn't just wrong. This was a rage quit moment, guys, because when the numbers are this good, when Trump's America First plan is this strong, and you're still denying it? Now, have you ever asked yourself this? Is my Medicare plan really the best for me right now? Now, most people don't until it's too late. Did you know that your doctor who is in network today might not be next year? Think about it. Or how about this? How about that new benefits might already exist for you right now, but your current plan won't tell you about it? Well, here's the truth, guys. People don't switch plans because someone talks them into it. They switch because they realize for themselves, wait a second, I could be saving money. I could be like keeping my doctor and getting more benefits. Of course I'm going to switch, right? And this is why I partner with Chapter, guys, because they don't push you into anything. They just simply ask you the right questions and then you decide for yourself. Now, one of our viewers, Leslie Taylor, she ended up saving over $1,000 a year. Sharon Bertusik, she was kicked off Medicaid, but Chapter helped her secure a new Medicare plan that worked for her. So ask yourself this. Am I 100% sure that my plan that I have right now is the best for me? I mean, ask yourself that question, because most people are already calling the phone number down at the bottom of your screen, 909-563-8279, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron to find out for themselves.
Just in fairness, and I wonder whether you think that they're the same or they're not the same. There have been people that have criticized Elizabeth Warren for years for individually attacking and going after and naming specific CEOs in America, specific companies in America, over again and over again. President Biden famously didn't invite Elon Musk to the White House, probably caused him to actually support this president originally. And so the question is whether those are the same or they're different.
It's interesting that we're talking about Joe Biden, no longer the president, Elizabeth Warren, who's a senator, as opposed to Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, his administration, as well as complete control of government in Washington, D.C., the House and the Senate. That's the problem that we are confronting right now.
You're not arguing facts anymore. You're just arguing fantasy. So let me ask you guys, if you're watching the show right now, let me know where you're watching from. But I want you to sit with this, okay? Do you really believe the hard numbers, or do you believe Jeffries' spin and his lies? Now, this is the choice that every American is facing right now. But here's the part that CNBC, here's the best part. CNBC wasn't done. So they went in again. And this time they pressed him on Trump's tariffs. Now, you remember how Democrats, they screamed for years that tariffs would cause a recession, collapse the economy, and destroy jobs? Well, guess what? They were dead freaking wrong, guys. They were wrong. The economy didn't collapse.
For the last several months, the Democratic Party, for the most part, has been publicly suggesting that because of these tariffs, that the economy was going to falter, that there was going to be a massive recession. And for whatever reason, that has not happened. And I'm curious why you think that hasn't happened, and whether you think it was a mistake to be as critical as you have been.
Well, good morning. Great to be with you. Donald Trump promised on day one that costs were going to go down. Costs haven't gone down. They've gone up. What we have seen, in fact, is job creation go down almost to record low levels.
The economy didn't collapse. It thrived. And so when CNBC basically called them out on it, well, why hasn't this recession, why hasn't this recession that you promised happened? Jeffries scrambled. He danced around. He did the Macarena, and then he turned and tried to change the subject. And then he desperately pivoted back to doom and gloom. Now, think about that, guys. Come on. Instead of celebrating good news for the American people, higher growth, stronger jobs, a tougher stance on China, the benefits of these tariffs, Jeffries looked like he was rooting against America just so that Donald Trump would not get the credit. So
actually, I'll tell you what we stand for, Joe. It's pretty clear. As Democrats, we believe in a strong floor and no ceiling. In America, you work hard, you play by the rules, you should be able to live the good life. And there should be no ceiling on your success, on your capacity to do anything in the United States of America. That's the great promise of this country. At the same period of time, there should be a strong floor.
That's what exposed him. not just as a liar. We already knew. Do you guys think that Jeffries is a liar, or is it just me thinking that? Now, it wasn't just as a liar, not just as partisan, but as someone who's willing to watch America fail if it means that Trump doesn't succeed. And that, my friends, this is when Jeffries completely lost it.
And how do you think about the message of socialism, or being a socialist, and what that may portend for the Democratic Party?
Well, I think, as I indicated, listen, my view about what we as Democrats stand for, what we're fighting for, we need to lower the high cost of living in the United States of America. We need to fix our broken healthcare system, and we need to clean up corruption in Washington, D.C., so we actually have a government that works for the American people, for everyday Americans, for hardworking American taxpayers, as opposed to working for the privileged few, which is what the Republican plan is right now.
I'm curious where you land on things like freezing rent, free buses, giving away, free food at supermarkets and the like, and what you just think of that idea and what it represents.
Listen, Zoran is going to have to make the case to the people of New York City, including in the neighborhoods that I represent, that these ideas, which are designed to address affordability.
Do you agree with those approaches as the solution? Look, you and I agree. Affordability is this number one issue in New York. It's the number one issue in the country. And so he has done a great job of identifying that issue and articulating that issue. The question is how you attack that issue. And what I'm asking you is whether you agree with the solutions that he's offering.
This is when the rage boiled over. This is when Hakeem Jeffries walked straight into his own humiliation and completely stormed out of CNBC.
Talking about free market. This is why I wanted to go there, because there's sort of you're talking about a free market on one side and being an advocate for a free market on one side, but at the same time, we just had a whole conversation about an individual who is running for mayor in New York City who is genuinely titling themselves a socialist. And you're saying that you might ultimately support them. And so I'm trying to understand the distinction here.
No. I'm trying to understand why you would spend a significant amount of time asking me about the Democratic nominee who's not even the mayor, and it's not a legitimate point to raise about a president who is regularly attacking the free market economy, bullying corporations, bullying universities, bullying law firms. He just recently called upon the CEO of Goldman Sachs to fire their chief economist. That's not problematic. He's the leader of the free world, the president of the United States of America. He's in office right now, and he's attacking the market-based economy. Now, Now, here's the kicker, guys. That's only half the story tonight, because while Jeffries was rage quitting in disgrace on live business television, Rachel Maddow was watching her entire empire collapse underneath her. Yes, the double quit is real, and Rachel Maddow's ultimate meltdown was just as spectacular. Now, before we dive into how the face of MSNBC mocked her own network's rebrand and then admitted that she didn't even know how to pronounce its new name, let me ask you this. If Jeffries is willing to deny cold, hard facts, then what does this really say about the entire Democrat media alliance that depends on the same spin? So don't be the last person that's left wondering. So here's where it gets even worse for Hakeem Jeffries, because even after flopping on the numbers and panicking over tariffs, CNBC hit him with the question that he never even wanted to hear. Where do you stand on socialism? Now, remember, Democrats have been cozying up to socialist radicals like Zoran Mandami, the New York mayoral candidate, pushing these rent freezes, free food, free buses, the whole socialist shebang, right? So CNBC asked Jeffries point blank, do you agree with these policies? And what did he do? He dodged. He tried to have it both ways. Now, on the one hand, he promised Manny for, focusing. He basically praised this guy for focusing on affordability. But on the other hand, he claimed to believe in the free markets. Now, folks, you really can't do both. You can't have both. That's not leadership. That is cowardice, okay?
And so he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. And the more he talked, the more obvious it became. Jeffries cannot pick a side. He doesn't know whether to please the radical activists screaming for socialism or the billionaire donors that are funding his campaigns. He tried to saddle the fence. And instead of, he basically collapsed right off of it. So this is why this wasn't just a rage quit. It was an intellectual quit. CNBC exposed him as a contradiction on live TV, guys. And Jeffries, he couldn't take it. He stormed out in humiliation because he knew the mask had slipped. But while Jeffries was losing his cool on CNBC, Rachel Maddow was losing something much bigger. Her entire empire. Because over at MSNBC, the network announced its new rebrand. MS Now, my source for news, opinion, and the world. Well, instead of defending it, instead of giving her audience confidence, Maddow mocked it. She openly admitted that she didn't even know how to pronounce the new name. So was it Ms. Now? Is it Miss Now? Is it PMS Now? I mean, she actually joked about this, guys. I'm surprised they didn't fire her for making fun of the new brand that they probably spent hundreds of millions of dollars investing in. Anyway, folks, when the face of your network laughs at its own brand, that's not confidence. This is clearly collapse. And it wasn't just Americans noticing this. International outlets like from Ireland to Europe, they picked up the story too. Maddow's meltdown went global. Think about that, guys. Jeffries was humiliated on CNBC for lying about America's success. And at the very same time, Maddow was humiliating her own network for being so incompetent that it couldn't even brand itself properly. This is why we call it the double quit, guys. Jeffries quit on facts. Maddow quit on her own network. Both of them exposed, both of them collapsing. Now, I am definitely not done yet, because if Rachel Maddow was mocking the rebrand, Joe Scarborough was doing the exact opposite, groveling to survive, just trying to keep his job, even cozying up to Donald Trump. And when you see the numbers behind MSNBC's ratings collapse, you're going to understand why Scarborough sold out and why Maddow's time is absolutely over. So now, while Rachel Maddow is mocking her own network's rebrand, someone else at MSNBC was playing a different game. Joe Scarborough. Now, unlike Rachel Maddow, Scarborough knows how to survive. He is the ultimate company man. He will kiss anyone's rear end to keep his check coming in. So when the bosses told him to announce the rebrand, he smiled. All right, boss. Well, anything else you need, boss? Can I shine your shoes, sir?
News as it pertains to our network. This morning, a new name for the network by the end of the year. We will become MS Now, which stands for My Source for News, Opinion, and the World. And look, Andrew, they even have a graphic up. I like it.
There it is.
Actually,
the new logo.
It looks very sporty. As we go to Versant, we're going to be moving in this direction. MS Now, which I got to say, I got a call yesterday afternoon, and they're saying, "We hope you're okay. We're going." I was like, "What do you mean? Like this shows we're independent." And what I've said on this show time and time again is, you look at the people that are running the company; they're entrepreneurs.
He read the script. He even called the new logo sporty. Sporty. This is the same guy who once swore he would never bow down to Trump. And yet, where did Joe and Micah end up? Mar-a-Lago, doing exactly what Rosie O'Donnell said, kissing the ring. He's kissing more than just the ring, if you ask me. But think about that, guys. Scarborough spent years attacking Trump. Now the guy is cozying up, even praising RFK Jr. for his fitness routines on live TV. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's not conviction, folks. That's desperation. There's a big difference. That is survival mode, okay? Scarborough will say and do whatever it takes to keep that paycheck flowing. Okay. Got to keep that direct deposit going. And so that's the difference. Scarborough grovels to stay in the game. Maddow refuses. So she's on the chopping block. But here's where it gets brutal, because even if Scarborough plays ball, the numbers don't lie. MSNBC is still collapsing. Get this. Check this out, guys. Ratings are down 55% in the key demo and 58% in prime time. That's not a dip. That is a free fall. That is a plunge. And remember, This is the network that was paying Rachel Maddow $30 million a year. They cut her down to $25 million for one show a week, but even that is unsustainable when the audience is gone. So it's not just Maddow, it's Joy Reid, right? Joy Reid already out. Jen Psaki failing. Peppermint Patty, as viewers call her, couldn't even hold the screen. Even so-called star is basically every one of these so-called stars is either shrinking or they're already gone. Meanwhile, you got CNBC, same news network that essentially exposed Jeffries, gets to keep its name. Why? Well, it's because CNBC actually delivers facts. They talk markets, data, reality. MSNBC, on the other hand, they're peddling Russia hoaxes, Trump fear-mongering, doomsday predictions that never came true, and, well, viewers walked away. So here's a real situation, guys. When a business network beats a news network at credibility, you already know the game is over because people are done with the lies. They're done with spin, and, they're never coming back from that. So this is why Maddow mocking the rebrand was the final straw. She wasn't just mocking a name, she was mocking a sinking ship. And Scarborough, well, he's just trying not to drown at this point. So, but the double collapse isn't happening in a vacuum, guys. In fact, Jeffries' rage quit and Maddow's meltdown, these are connected. Both prove the exact same thing. The Democrats and their media machine, they're tied at the hip. Okay. And when Trump succeeds, well, they unravel together. And so now we get to the heart of the matter. Why both of these implosions happened on the same stage of history. Because Hakeem Jeffries storming out of CNBC and Rachel Maddow melting down over her network's rebrand, they're not two random embarrassments. They're symptoms of the same disease. The Democrat media alliance collapsing under the weight of Trump's success. Think about it. Jeffries couldn't handle the facts. Low inflation, strong GDP, trillions in foreign investment, peace talks on the horizon. And of course, Maddow couldn't handle her network's decline, ratings in freefall, salaries unsustainable, a brand that's so broken that it just had to scrap it, start over, and rename it. Both of them depended on one thing: convincing you that Donald Trump was a disaster. And now that Trump is delivering, well, the entire narrative is gone. So this is why Jeffries quit on live TV. This is why Rachel Maddow quit on her own brand, because when Trump wins, their lies collapse. And let's be clear about Trump's wins, okay? These are not accidents. This is smart, strategic, patriotic leadership. His tariffs didn't crash the economy. They strengthened it. His border enforcement didn't cause chaos. It restored security. His diplomacy didn't isolate America. It's bringing peace closer than we've seen in decades. His law and order push in D.C., Washington, D.C., it didn't create fear. It cut violent crime by double digits in a single season. This is compassion for the American people. The strategy works, and this is the America First vision that's succeeding in real time. And what happens when Trump succeeds? Well, the Democrat media machine, it unravels. They can't spin it. They can't sell it. They can't survive it. So Jeffries storms out. Maddow loses everything. That's the double quit, guys. And so here's the question you have to answer. Do you trust the hard numbers or do you trust the spin? Because the choice you make tells us everything regarding where America stands in 2025. Now, folks, today, it was more than just a bad news cycle for the left. It was really the beginning of the end for their empire. Jeffries exposed, Maddow humiliated, MSNBC collapsing. The Democrat narrative is shredded while Trump stands stronger than ever. So this is why this video matters, because the truth is out there now and millions of Americans are waking up. So if you're ready to keep spreading that truth, hit the like button, smash subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. And don't go anywhere, guys, because YouTube believes you're going to love the next video that just popped up on your screen right now. Click that video, watch it, and keep the momentum rolling, because this fight is not over, and together, we're just getting started.